So I guess I'm recording 2 videos today. First one, which is this one, we'll be talking about something very, very different on the channel. However, I'll give you a brief explanation as to why there was no video on Friday. I was actually in the process of getting stuff ready for my mom's celebration of life. So I didn't actually have anything pre-recorded, and I couldn't exactly get it out on time because I was out at Tabor Lake. So I do apologize for that because I know there's supposed to be a video every last Friday. However, I just could not actually get a video out on Friday for the simple fact of her celebration of life was that weekend. I had to do most of my setup on Friday going over the weekend. So I do apologize for that. Anyways, I want to welcome you back to another YouTube video, you beautiful hosers. And today, I'm sure you read the title, so let's just jump into it. What a day. Okay. That's enough pausing. So, no situation is exactly the same. From the start of your life to the end of your life. There's always different things going on. Now, for example, love, romance, that sort of stuff, everything is vastly different. There is millions of different outcomes, 2 trillions of different outcomes. No set situation is exactly the same from one person to the next. Do you know why? Because everybody is vastly different. They all live vastly different lives. And if you were going by a percentage of different outcomes to everything in between, nobody is exactly going to match up. So if you're doing that, you'd be in the 0.0000. You get the drift. Percentile there. Because there's 7 billion, I believe that is right now, as I'm recording this, people on the earth. Everybody has situations that are vastly different. Now, for example, my parents both passed away. One from chronic kidney disease, the other had a stroke. So, you can see where I'm going with this. You could say, well, that's something that normally could happen to anybody, where they have a parent pass away from a stroke, and then another one pass away from kidney disease. However, the 6 years apart, once again, it could happen, but it's everything in between that would be vastly different from one person to the next. So, say for example, somebody else went through more or less the same scenario. However, their mom wasn't bit by a spider, wasn't wheelchair bound, wasn't an amputee. Our lives are vastly different from one another. Situation is uniquely mine. Situation is uniquely theirs where that didn't happen. It's almost like alternate timelines. Which, you know, is kind of funny how we think of alternate dimensions, but what if that's just our doppelgangers on Earth? Mind blowing. Anyways, moving on. So, from one person to the next, nothing is exactly the same. So, I lost my parents in that 6-year gap, they lost theirs. However, there was situations in those 6 years that were vastly different from me to them. Now, in love and romance, say somebody got engaged and married all in the same day, Viva Las Vegas, I guess, and somebody else did. Now, in today's statistics, 50% of marriages end in divorce. There's various different reasons as to why that is. However, we're not going to go over that because, to be honest, I don't think anybody wants to listen to that. So we're just going to move on. So, say one person got divorced, the other stays married for, let's say, 50 some odd years. Until death does them part. So, situations, obviously, vastly different. Now, compare somebody that's married for the 50 years to another person that's married for the 50 years. They're going to have things that were vastly different from one another. One person could have been sick on August 8th. The other one could have been fine on August 8th. See where I'm going with this? Fairly certain everybody does. So, no matter the situation, no matter how you handle it, it's always uniquely yours. Now, I realize there's a lot of people on the planet that get bullied on more or less a daily basis, I'll say, because I'm not going to say yearly, because I don't think anybody just decides, you know what, one day of the year I'm just going to bully the same person. I don't think that's exactly how it works. So we'll just say daily for this example. You could say, well, how do you justify that? The answer is, I'm not going to justify it, because it's not justifiable bullying anyone. However, that situation is uniquely yours, and what you do with it is solely up to you. Whether you turn it for the better or you turn it for the worse, like I did. For those of you that don't know my story, I was bullied a lot as a kid, and in high school is eventually when I finally snapped. So, moving on from that, there's a lot of people that get bullied, there's a lot of people that get called names, and a lot of things, and the internet is no exception to those rules. Because there's always going to be something going on in the background that somebody not necessarily agrees with, but they're always going to be there saying, well, it was this reason as to why XYZ happened. I'm not going to justify bullying anyone. However, that situation, like I said, you can either flip it for the good or you could turn it for the worse. And what I mean by turn it for the worse is, I don't think I can exactly say this in a family-friendly way, but we'll try. We'll say offing. I'm sure somebody can put two and two together what I mean by offing. So somebody offing and somebody turning into the bully, the one thing that they hated. So you have that side of the spectrum, and then turning it for the good. Now, turning it for the good could be prevention programs, or it could be somebody just trying to help out others because they know what it's like to go through the same sort of situation there. So there's vastly different outcomes to that, and there's always going to be variables in between that nobody's going to quite understand but the person themselves going through it. Now, it sucks, and there's not a whole lot a person can do about it after the fact that it's already happened. It's just in the moments we all learn to understand different things happen for different reasons. Now, a lot of the times people are bullying people for the simple fact of A, they think it's fun, or B, I'm only going to list two options here. I know there's a lot more. They see something inside that person that they wish they had. So it's a kind of envy situation where they're envious of somebody, so they're like, you know what, I'm just going to belittle this person because they have something that I don't have. Now, it's one of the things that not everybody quite understands, and I don't expect everybody to understand. And it's one of the few things that I don't quite understand myself. However, with every situation having different outcomes and different variables from one person to the next, everybody is different, everybody is unique. And coming from a religious perspective, there's a reason as to why that is. Because if everybody was cookie cutter, I'm fairly certain nobody would go and do anything different. You wouldn't have actors, you wouldn't have people that are building houses, you wouldn't have people that are working retail. Everybody would be doing the same thing day in, day out. And like I said, from a religious perspective, we're uniquely different for the set purpose of we are here to actually go and help one another. Now, if everybody was doing the exact same thing, there would be no reason to help one another. And that's kind of where I'm going to end this. Is the best thing that you can actually do is help out somebody that's near you. Everybody's going through something. Everybody has something devastating that happens in their life. It's what you do with it and how you handle it that really shows them and whoever else is around you observing who you truly are. If you're constantly being put down and belittled but you constantly rise to the occasion to help somebody else, that's going to mean the world to somebody else more than you think it really is. And I know as a Christian, that's more or less the way we're technically supposed to live. We're not supposed to belittle each other and other people, especially non-believers. What we're actually supposed to do is actually be kind to one another and help one another. Now, I don't have to outwardly go and say, hey, I'm a Christian, and yell it from the mountains. Rather, I'm supposed to do it by the way I talk to the way I act. Because they'll know I'm a Christian by the way that I'm acting towards other people, where I'm helping them, and I don't have an ulterior motive for anything. I'm doing it because I genuinely care about helping said person. I'm not doing it so that I can get something out of it. And that's kind of the reason why I'm doing these videos. Is I'm not expecting my channel to blow up at all. Technically, I've hindered my channel from skyrocketing, and I've slowed it down myself. For those of you that don't know, my channel was actually getting a lot of views a couple of years ago, and it was to the point where it's when drama videos were really popping off at the time, I hopped on the bandwagon, and then I stopped myself. Mainly because I didn't think the videos were helping anyone, and in all honesty, I think it made myself feel like crap, because I didn't enjoy doing the videos. I was doing it for the views, which is technically the wrong way of going about things. You should be doing things because you want to do them, and not because you feel you have to do it out of moral obligation. And that's kind of a Christian thing as well. Is you have to do it because you care about other people, not because you have a moral obligation because you believe in God. Yes, I'm using quotation marks there for believe in God, because anybody can say they believe in God, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to heaven. Oh no, oh no. Mission abort, mission abort. Cover our ears. He's lying. Everybody goes to heaven. Nobody goes to hell. Cover your ears. Hide the children. He's spouting nonsense. Anyways, joke aside. Just because I do good things doesn't mean I'm going to get into heaven. I could be doing good things in the public eye and then be an absolute bastard. I know that's harsh language for me to use on the channel. However, we're just going to go with it behind the scenes. I know personally that's not who I actually am, but you see where I'm going with this. Is I could be caring on the camera, but as soon as the camera turns off, I could be a belligerent, miserable person that only helps themselves. And does that mean I'm going to heaven out of moral obligation? No, it doesn't. Even in other contexts, I will say this. Christianity has a lot to do with other religions, whether Christians like to admit that or not. For example, Greek mythology. Yes, I'm going with that one. And this will only take a couple of minutes because I know I'm sort of rambling now. Hercules. Hercules is technically in the Bible. Did you know that? Who could it possibly be? A guy with long hair that's not supposed to be drinking, that's not supposed to touch dead things. Who could that possibly be in the Bible? Messed around with somebody named Delilah. Now, if you got it off of those hints, congratulations. I will give you a round of applause. His name is Samson. Samson is technically Hercules, and Hercules is technically a demigod in Greek mythology. Now, in Christianity, that's Samson, which Samson technically has... I won't go as far as calling him a god in any sort, even though I know what technically demigod means and entails. He did have God-given powers. For sure. But, once again, Hercules. Samson. Same person, different perspective. So just because you see something one way doesn't mean somebody else isn't going to see it another way. And that's where I'm going to end this video, because I'm just going to ramble on forever. So, if you made it this far, please consider subscribing. And next video that I do is, I promise, going to be less than 10 minutes. It's not going to be this long. And it is me calling myself out. So, thank you for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic 2022. And if you're not, I hope it gets better for you sooner rather than later. Peace out, and I will see you all in the next video.